Hello and a warm welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. We're back with everything that's worth conversation right now. I'm Chinyere Igweodu.
And I am Henry Igwebike.
All right, we'll head straight into our newspaper segment, but not without first inviting you to be a part of our community and have a say in what we say. We have Enterprise TV 7 across all social media. You may subscribe, comment, like, and share. You may also log on to our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Our guest for this segment is a thought leader, a policy advisor, and a full circle media specialist. He's no other than Cyril Abanko. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Henry.
All right. So without further ado, let's get right into the dailies. I'm beginning with the Daily Trust. And I'll just go on the bottom straight to look at this human angle story, Henry. Pregnant women, or rather women, decry high cost of Medicare and baby essentials.
Yes, and the big story on the Daily Trust newspaper, labeled Federal Government on Workers' Day, pay us 615,000 naira minimum wage or face showdown.
And the rider?
And the rider there says it demands electricity tariff reversal. We are considering a living wage from Tinubu, and we have government promises better welfare for workers.
And the top strip on Daily Trust, we have Naira devaluation, biggest mess of 2023. And this is credited to Dangote.
And still on the top strip of the same newspaper, cocoa now gold in Taraba as buyers overwhelm farmers.
Right. We also have here farmers had a signed peace pact in the Southwest.
Yes. And,
all right.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what we have on the Daily Trust this morning. But let's stay on the big story. Pay us 615,000 minimum wage or face showdown. All right. So yesterday was International Workers' Day, Cyril, and for me, I think it looked a bit forlorn. Looking at what what workers are faced with, it's safe to say we are in perilous times, so to speak. The cost of food, the cost of housing, workers are in the ICU. Permit me to say that. And then we saw that the president made a big statement, even though some people are grappling with what that means, with a 5% increase. It looks a bit incremental. But help us understand where we are in the minimum wage conversation. It's been 5 years post the last review under President Buhari's tenure. One of what President Tinubu promised when he came on stream and removed subsidy on petrol was to ensure that the issue of minimum wage is resolved. Where are we in the conversation?
So let me say that the signals we see sort of portend a conclusion that that conversation isn't even going on at all.
How do you mean?
Now, last year, after the minimum wage was, after the subsidy on petrol was taken away, minimum wage was not adjusted, was not raised. So the worker now had a lot more to contend with from his little pay. Okay. The government had not even formed a cabinet. So it was one of the president's advisors that was interfacing with Labour. They formed a joint committee to discuss minimum wage. Yet, they couldn't come. In fact, Labour said that whenever they went to for those meetings, they met empty chairs. Government wasn't at the table. Later on, when the cabinet was formed, it now looked as if the minister was to go back and begin all over again. That is assuming government and Labour were even having a discussion before the cabinet was formed. You know, it took a while before the cabinet came into place. So the minister came. Now that minister has even gone to become a senator, if I'm not making a mistake. So there is a whole problem around. Now, let's fast forward to yesterday. The day before yesterday, which was Tuesday, the federal government announced increment in salaries, right, for people on consolidated salary structure. Mm-hmm. But that's not the minimum wage.
Right.
Now, I'm wondering, the government is saying when we announce minimum wage, and by the way, they had been saying May 1, though it was speculative. Now, May 1 has, and I was here yesterday saying, well, there's nothing special about May 1. If you had agreed on minimum wage, I agree and implement, there's no need to wait for what May 1 is any other day. Mm. Now, May 1 has come and gone, and they've not. So, how a government that wants to take 1 whole year to agree on minimum wage, a government that spent 1 billion naira, they should correct us if we are wrong, 1 billion naira to discuss what minimum wage would be, because they later leaked. the letter the SGF wrote to the president demanding 1 billion naira to hold minimum wage talks. 1 billion. The president was said to have reportedly, allegedly, in the letter that leaked, minuted and said, SGF begin with 500 million naira first. What are they doing 500 million naira? To discuss what? Minimum wage. Something that they could have organized a Zoom meeting and people would have. Are they so in Nigeria and what's it called? I should be for people that will attend the meeting. Are they importing chefs from Turkey to come and cook for them? You spend that, it means your purpose is not to discuss minimum wage.
Right.
The minimum wage discussion is a way of siphoning more money. So this minimum wage talk will not end now. It has provided an avenue for people to do whatever it is they want to do. We are discussing minimum. The government didn't discuss minimum wage. Last year in November, the federal government sought for and got approval for a supplementary budget of 2.2 trillion naira. What did they do with that money?
Okay, so sorry, before we move on to the next paper, speak to the fact that even the extant minimum wage that we have already subsisting, most states have not been able to pay. NLC and other and its sister bodies are now asking for 615,000 naira. Is this a far cry from reality? It
is a distant prospect, frankly. But even for me, I won't do anything less than what the NLC has done. You see, diplomacy is another word for negotiation. When you're negotiating, you don't go telling people what you want exactly. If it is what you call a negotiation,
okay, you raise the ante.
You have to raise it substantially so that you and the other party will meet in. Who knows if they fall for you? You meet in the middle of the road. So if they don't demand this, the federal, look at the governor of Edo, they spend 70,000 as minimum wage. It's not sustainable.
Right.
Let me say this: there is no Nigerian worker, quote me, worker anywhere today who can survive on even 150,000 naira per month. You cannot. Well, what else? So a wife, let me even assume that you have one wife with a family of, say, 3 or 4 children. What can that do for you?
Even one child, Henry.
What can that do for you? Nigerians are good at procreation. What can that do for you? You have, so you work in the state capital as a civil servant. Your house will be out of the map, first of all, you know, so that your hands, you out of the map, maybe you, so how do you come from work to that? How do you come from home to that, to work every day when there are no real systems? Minimum wage, and let me wrap with this. Minimum wage is a philosophical benchmark. It is not as if when people are saying you must pay. Minimum wage is not an agitation. The way you have agitation for independence or return to democracy, it's not like that. Minimum wage, what it means is this. We are defining the value of the worker. You know why some big companies pay big salaries? So that their workers and staff can dress well, look well, you know, go to certain big places and raise the value of the company eventually. Now, in the public sector, in government, minimum wage is achieved one thing. Where you have government providing services, roads, rails, pipe-borne water to your home, good hospital care, health insurance, and so on, you don't need. It's as if whatever they are paying you is just stipends for your upkeep. But everything else you need has been provided for. But because here now, those things are not in place. And the most important thing we all need to power our homes, power our cars is fuel. So government puts subsidy on fuel because if they left it to your salary alone, it cannot meet all those needs. So subsidy is like an alternative, is like a cushion. It's not as if we all need, you know, no. If services are where they ought to be, okay, and even if you had a car, it will look like a luxury. You really don't need a car. For 2% of your salary, maybe you bought 3 tickets for a whole year. What do you need? And you know, so like that, for on the salary of even 50,000 naira, you can have enough to spare. But because we don't have that's why minimum wage has become such an agitation. It shouldn't really be the case. The day Nigeria has a functional infrastructure system, the minimum wage stuff will no longer be an issue. It will come down. But for now, a government that is still discussing, the way they are going, even the next 1 year, and then they'll keep collecting more money,
right,
and only more meetings. So the real thing they're looking for is not wage, is the money they will use to organize those meetings.
Very true. All right, so let's quickly move on to our second daily. For today, it's coming from the Vanguard newspaper. And the big story here says, May Day Labour gives the federal government 31 deadline on minimum wage. May 31, a deadline on a minimum wage.
All right. On the top strip, we have May Day. Governors promise better working conditions, pay rise for workers.
And on the bottom strip, just below the main story, we have banks close 2 million accounts over BVN, NIN, and the others.
All right. Also on the bottom strip, we have Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Federal government begins 275 billion naira compensation to property owners.
All right. So, Mr. Abaku, let's talk about the issue of bank closing 2 million accounts over BVN and NIN and others. Currently in Nigeria, there are over 30 million unbanked Nigerians. And with that comes pools of money outside of the financial system. At a time when other countries are leveraging on the fact that its population are its stronghold, of course, which means the productivity of such a population and what they bring into the financial system, which runs the economy, Nigerians are at this point removing 2 million banked Nigerians off the system.
Yes, their banks are removing them. You know before now. I don't know how they even did it. Politicians, some high net worth Nigerians, didn't have BVN.
Okay.
That is the reason why they are removing them from they are closing the stuff from one account I saw. They didn't have BVNs. And you can't imagine how, I mean, the story I have here says Nigerian banks closed 2 million accounts over BVN, NIN, others, which means there are irregularities. Politicians, high-profile Nigerians are not on. You know, the BVN is the bank verification number. It connects one account to another if it's yours. So what that means is that if you owe one bank, you cannot blindside another bank and go and take extra loans from them or use one bank to, you know that kind of thing. So they can track. Sometimes if you even close one account, right? If you call the bank and say, I suspect fraud on my bank, please shut it for me. You'll be surprised that all the other accounts automatically they'll be frozen. That's your BVN at work actually. Now the question is, look at Henry and Chinri. When we say bank account, like I was talking about the minimum wage, it's not just about minimum wage or bank account. It's not just a bank account. A bank account stands for more than just a place you put money and take it out of. Now, do you see how we had the other day that prison warders were using their accounts to move monies for terrorists who were in detention or who had been sent to prison? And look at the scale of insecurity we have had. This people always ask, all these huge ransoms, how do they move around? When you have people bank accounts without BVN and all these kind of things, shouldn't we already find the answer to the question?
But do you think this is targeted at the people you're talking about or to the locals? So some villages in Nigeria, you need to drive miles just to get to the nearest microfinance bank.
I agree with you. But there's what they call illicit financial flows. Believe me, they are called flows. They can move from cash to it keeps on changing form, right? But keeps on moving until it gets to the destination where they want it to get to. Which means that money can leave a village, let's say in Katina, go to Kebbi, become yams, become sold, okay? Becomes sold, and then the money goes into an account. When when people are investigating and trying to trace how the money has moved, it keeps changing form. But if this money, and because investigators will not be able to track it on time. See, for example, if money leaves Katina and police is suspecting somebody, okay, anywhere, so they can say in the next 6 months to 1 year, they can check how money flows into the person's account. But without BVN, okay, money may have moved into somebody's account in Lokoja, maybe in the name of maybe with a bank, and you can't trace it in Lagos. But those people are highly connected, and they can move money anywhere, even internationally. So when we say that they've shut these accounts, you don't just shut them. Let us now take very great effort and pain to investigate these accounts thoroughly, to check how money has moved through them, and to see if there's any need for any sufficient enough for us to flag, okay,
those accounts.
But I hope that they are not implementing the law wrongly. Going after fries, after and leaving the bigger ones in the deeper seas. That will not be good. But this move, I don't think is out of place, except that you can't be too sure when Nigeria is doing something. It may be something else that they're really doing.
Absolutely. All right. So let's look at the story on the nation that caught my eyes. Just on the bottom, the top street rather, jubilation as Transportation Minister flags off Port Harcourt Aba train service. Cyril, allow me to say that you're a Port Harcourt person. You're from River State, even though you hate to say you're from Port Harcourt. Aba happens to be like a central nerve where people from all over Nigeria go to buy, especially fabrics and other essentials that are used to work. Seeing that this, I mean, for a while now, the train rail has been in a deplorable state. I mean, I have traveled from Port Harcourt to Aba via train.
Several times. Okay.
Right. This looks like a laudable approach or a step in the right direction. Speak to the economic impact of this.
No, the economic, like I always say, Aba has a lot of promise.
Right.
I mean, the way you can look at me and say, I'm a Port Harcourt person, in a sense, I'm also an Aba person. Yes, because right from I think I was about 9-10 years old. I was a frequent face in Area Market, Cemetery Market, Anyanwur, and all these places. I understand the dynamics of the economics of that area. This it's a gold mine. And we've always said that Nigeria's wealth is not necessarily the oil and gas. It is its people. And in no other place have people been able to translate what they have, in their heads into practical things that can be bought and sold, as Aba has done it. So Aba is a system that can compete competitively, can compete favorably with even Dubai, if we see the vision and want to work towards that. So connecting it to Port Harcourt by rail, Port Harcourt has the market for consumption, and Aba has the market for production. And not just Port Harcourt, I mean, by extension, that goes to Bayelsa and even Akwa Ibom,
right.
Okay, and across the river. So it's a huge potential, but I won't celebrate just yet. This is Nigeria, right? I'd like to see what because of the rail service in another 6 months. And that's long-term projection for me. But let us take Aba from where it is now. A line in Ariaria, the last time I went in 2019, the roads were worse than what they used to be around 96 and 97. To think that whole A line, that Aba General has very bad roads. If you're coming from Cemetery Market down, turning into that A line axis, you wonder whether people are, the road is bad, and the day it rains, your car can be grounded.
But fortunately, OT is doing an amazing job right now.
Yes, but I'd like to see when OT blows the whistle and says, I am done with Aba, that's the Aba I want to see.
Oh.
Because that will now really be the city of potential, not just where it is right now. Where it is right now is the much the marketers, the traders and shop owners have been able to do, right? But I like for OT to come and say, this is the Aba that I had in mind, because watch it. Professor Basil and Co have done obviously a world of good, and Aba by extension, the geometric power plant, right? So now you have power, you have access. So, but what do we really want to do with Aba? What will Aba be known for? Aba is a place that people use their hand to sew jacket, what 3-piece suit and so on. Take it to Dubai and Turkey and bring it back to Nigeria for people to buy. It was from Aba, one of our customers. I learned many years ago that he wore a shoe that was worth 12,000 naira. This was almost 15 or so years ago. He had worn that shoe until he was tired of wearing it. It was so, I realized that the way we buy fake things in Nigeria that I imported, in Aba, they are making state-of-the-art things that Nigeria was not even appreciating. But the government has a duty to now raise the ante significantly. Right. If you need to connect Aba to APSU, for example, for research and other things, it's fine. We saw it in Biafra. Biafra R&D was better than what even Nigerian Army was doing after the war. I give you a story. The well at Onsuka was not producing water. Okay? So they called the Nigerian, then of course it was military rule. So Nigerian sent engineers from Lagos to come and check the well. They couldn't bring it back to life. The Professor Chukwuemeka Ike, he has passed on now. He was the king before he passed on in Abia State. He come, he say, Nzimiro, come. You are head of, you are part of around in Biafra, around this research and production. This well should come out. The man brought it back to life. So that ingenuity is there.
Right.
This was in Soka in the 70s. That ingenuity, what they've lacked is a leader that can galvanize, not just to make, but can galvanize these people into a force that can begin to, all of they are important to Kano just from America and so on. In Aba, they can do better than that. Please, I'm not, this is not propaganda. I can tell you. It's leadership.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
If you tap into abandoned navies and give them targets, you can be sure that they can do something good with that. So let's look inwards and look and see what we can do for our dear country.
All right. Thank you so much, Cyril Abako, a thought leader, a policy advisor, and a full circle media specialist. That has been our newspaper segment this morning. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for coming. And when we return, Dave Omahi accuses Peter Obi of inciting the Igbo against the federal government. Details in a bit when we come back. Please don't go anywhere.